compared.
So there's some questions here. What's the goal behind density line products? That's a good question. So um, when I started 034 Motorsport, um, I remember thinking, well, I had heard. So um, this would have been around, you know, 2002, 2003. Yeah, there you go. There were the old school early Audi transmission mounts, which everything ran going back to the 70s, and they're soft and squishy, and everyone hated them, and there was no upgrades for those, and so I became an ETCA expert in the late 90s. And I could see in ETCA that there were Audi Sport transmission mounts, and some of these were put on Sport Quattros and things like that, but they were in ETCA, and they were really hard to get. And I actually did end up getting some at some points, and it was the factory mount. It was just stiffer. Um, but the problem is it still had big voids in it, and if you used them really hard, they would still fail. And so I thought, what if, what if, why isn't there like an aftermarket solution that's the factory mount just re-engineered to perform better, just as if the factory wanted to do it, similar to these Audi Sport mounts, but even take every opportunity to make it better.
Yep.
And so I contacted one of the OE factories that made these mounts for Audis for years, and worked with them, and basically created some prototypes, made the rubber stiffer, changed the voids, filled in some of the voids. Because even back then, you could take like uh, we used to take epoxy putty and stick it in the voids, or using that like 3M windshield glue and just to fill the voids. So I just went straight to the manufacturer and was like, let's just make it right as if Audi had done it. And so we released our first density line products in probably '04, '05.
Yeah.
We did the B5. I think we released that in like '06. We were still at the old shop.
Yeah, we did the
And
i5
then
stuff.
it just became wildly popular. I did all the i5 stuff,
Well,
all the B5
it
stuff.
just fixed so many problems that we were having
Yeah.
with these
Um,
mounts. And there's a lot of things that are tough to see. This is what, an i5 puck,
no, that's a B5.
B5 puck.
That's the
There's a bunch of other subtle changes that we did. Obviously the voids are filled. You can see there's normally in the
I don't know if you can see the difference,
these
but I
cavities have
don't know if you want to
have a
handle it.
hydraulic fluid in them. Yeah,
This is obviously missing the bottom cup, but you
Yeah.
can show the voids and stuff like that.
that should focus. If you-
Yeah, so the question is, what was the goal? The goal is to create an OEM mount that's designed right from the start for additional stiffness,
Focus
and
that close?
and performance. But you get the idea if
Yeah.
you're watching. Um, and you know, there's kind of, I don't know if it's an actual real debate, but there's plenty of companies even to this day that make poly mounts. That's
Oh,
the
no.
factory mount.
Yeah, now you done it.
Once you cut it in half. The debate between polyurethane and rubber for motor mounts, and so the goal was, if you buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, they don't come with like red poly motor mounts. They come with properly designed and engineered rubber mounts, just like our density mounts are. So the goal is to create a high performance mount using proven OEM manufacturing techniques and materials and concepts.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other upgrades to them as well, where like the studs will rip out of the stock mounts on the bottom of these. We upgrade the bottom cup to steel.
Well, yeah, let's
aside
talk
from just
let's
the
talk this
rubber.
one specifically. So this is the B5 mount. Not only are the voids missing, not only is the rubber stiffer, the bottom cup on these, which this one, the OEM one, has ripped out. The whole bottom rips out. It's a stamped aluminum, so it's missing on this one because it was cut in half and it fell off. But our bottom cup is now carbon steel, so it does not rip out. Never. Also, the stud, we've upgraded from 8 mil to 10 mil, so that's stronger and more durable. The crimp that holds this together, we've redesigned to make it's stronger. So there's a lot of little upgrades, and then we offer the street density and track density. And the street density, the idea here is to have minimal NVH increase. So it would be like if the car came with it from the factory, nothing's vibrating or shaking. There could be some small NVH, noticeable NVH, but acceptable to basically anyone that would drive the car. And then track density is you throw NVH out the window and you make the stiffest, best performing mount possible. Someone's asking part of these questions. I want to buy an N-Link, but don't want anything race car-ish. Do you offer an OEM Plus, Dynamic Plus solution? Yeah, so our Dynamic Plus end links and our density end links are designed to be, OEM factory replacements that offer, the function and reliability of the factory part, but are upgraded and better performing. These aren't going to rattle or make noise or things like that. Unlike our motorsport stuff, which is much stiffer and more adjustable, but it has some of the issues that come along with it. Why are your products better than the OEM replacements? So again, these products are density line products are typically more reliable than factory parts. I would say almost always, and better performing. So if you're looking for a stronger, more durable part that's heavier duty and better performing, then that's the idea behind our density products. Our density products are typically substantially cheaper than the factory parts.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just going through the list in my head. Like, there's a bunch of different compromises we make when designing these. Cost isn't as much of a concern just because we're not selling in the millions of these mounts per vehicle. So we are able to use higher quality or maybe more expensive techniques to manufacture these, like the steel cup, the larger studs, some different some different bolt capturing for the upper stud.
Yeah,
so
it can't rip out.
We're able to kind of, we can make these in a more expensive way than an OEM can. That is more performance oriented and more robust, where just different considerations for the design theory.
But yeah, our products are better than OEM replacements. I mean, that's the goal.
Right.
If we're coming out with a density product that's the same or worse as OEM replacement, I'm not gonna put 034 Motorsport's name on that. That's literally not. We're this entire thing is about making something that's better. Everything we do is about improving, we're not just hucking, we're not some eBay reseller hucking crap out there from like some Chinese vendor.